This episode of the all-new Marvel Roundup is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Welcome to the all-new Marvel Roundup, the Southgate Media Group guide to the Marvel Comics of the week. As always, I am Phil Parrish. With me is...
Charlie Esser!
And a special guest to discuss I'm so excited, I just can't contain it. Our DC expert, Lil Hellfire, who I do World's Finest with and discuss all the DC books.
Hey guys, ready for a decidedly contentious review?
Oh!
Absolutely, yes. Welcome to the Marvel Universe.
I've been here once before, it wasn't that bad.
So Lilith and I read Civil War II Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Yeah, so I just want to get this out of the way, as I was saying before we started, is that ever since Civil War kind of happened, I've kind of been away from Marvel, just the mainstream side of things, but I heard good things about this one, so I actually got it, and I actually agree with a lot of the good reviews that were out. It's just too bad that all the Civil War tie-ins aren't this good.
Ooh, so what did you enjoy about it?
I like that they basically made Peter Parker a big brother. I like that Ulysses is this new character. His power is kind of unique, but it's also kind of on a grander scale than what Peter does with his Spidey sense. Mm-hmm. I thought that this is a really cool kind of matchup. And it's like a day in the life of Spider-Man too, so it's just like, oh, this is really cool.
So since you've been away for a while, do you like Peter Parker as like the CEO?
That's what kind of drove me away initially, but in this one it wasn't too bad until like we get to his employee. The Ulysses sees that thing about the employee, and I'm just like, oh, there goes the cart before the horse.
Nah, because I'm sure it'll work out just exactly like.
I'm sure it won't blow up in everybody's face because, Peter Parker bad luck's not a thing.
Yeah, Charlie, Ulysses sees Clayton Cole's gonna go bad again.
Oh my. I don't read Amazing Spider-Man anymore. Not until Otto comes back.
Charlie,
I can understand that, honestly.
He loves his superior Spider-Man.
But no, I like how Gage, that's the writer, right?
Yeah.
He kind of really has, like, this is the power that Ulysses has, is like really this great big philosophical, thing. And he really is like giddy exploring it, and a lot of writers lately just haven't been giddy about anything. So I think that's why this issue really works.
Yeah.
So you would recommend it then?
Oh yeah. It actually feels more Spider-Man than Civil War, so.
Yeah. Well, as people have pointed out, Ulysses' power, it's interesting that they have it, but it's not like precognition is a new power. So they really do need to do a little something more to emphasize why his precognition is so much better than everyone else's.
Well, maybe we'll get that in the main miniseries, I guess.
Yeah.
So you give it as we do over here, you would give it a thumbs up, Lilith?
Yes, I would give it a thumbs up.
Ooh.
Yeah, here in the Marvel Universe, we try not to be so judgmental. It's just, is it good enough to read? Is it bad enough not to read? Okay, so we're gonna give it a thumbs up, because it's subjective. I mean, it was good enough. Yeah, you might like it. You like these characters? There you go. It doesn't have to be all about numbers and breaking it down, and
honestly, that's what we should do, Phil. Because man, coming up with those numbers without sounding like a witch is hard.
There you go. Yeah, because I was gonna say over here in the Magic Kingdom,
blue skies ahead. But no, what did you enjoy about this one?
Just the same things you were talking about. Just the whole Big Brother thing. We did get a little bit of interaction with the Human Torch, but yeah, I did like him interacting with Ulysses and basically probably being everything to him that Tony Stark should be, but he won't be.
Yeah, the Human Torch was great, and I was just like, he just had his junk on that pillow, bro. Body shaming, like that's something I would have never expected to come out of the Human Torch's mouth.
Yeah, Charlie, Peter comes home and goes to get in bed, and meanwhile, Johnny's sleeping in his bed.
Naked.
Why is Johnny sleeping in Peter's bed? Aside from
because he's a hot-natured individual.
And he says, basically, he's like, you told me I could stop by whenever. He's like, and this used to be my house.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, those two, like Cap and Bucky, you know what? One night on Secret Wars Battle World, you know, two friends together. The moment comes, and you don't judge it. You don't sit in judgment about it. You just let it happen.
We just keep getting pulled into Lilith Hellfire's fan fiction here.
What? It wasn't even me this time.
I know, but I'm sure it's written up somewhere.
I'm just saying it's perfectly natural for in moments of high stress for brothers in blood, fellow warriors on the front lines, to seek comfort in each other's arms. And I'm sure Peter and Johnny have been there, as Cap and Bucky have been there, as Jason Todd and Roy Harper have been there. You know, they've all been there, and you don't judge, you don't get mad about it, you don't even have to talk about it, because it's just, our love is so pure, you let it go, you know?
Oh. Well, on that note, I'm gonna go see myself out so I can write some fanfic now.
Alright, and I'll send that line to you. Thank you very much, okay. Lilith Hellfire. We expect more reviews, so.
Yes, we do.
Okay, it was awesome. You guys have a good talk.
You too. Yay! I'm so happy that my arch nemesis is here.
I know, you were begging for that for weeks.
Yeah, because she's awesome. Isn't she, everyone? Yeah. Right, and say how much you love Lilith Hellfire and how much she should be a regular fixture on the all-new Marvel Roundup. And I hope you all have at this point listened to, because I know it posted today, just so you can know when we record these things, Lilith, Phil, and I's review of X-Men Apocalypse. The aptly named X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, it did go up? I didn't see that. I saw one of the other ones, but okay.
Yeah, it just downloaded on my Stitcher today, so it's like, oh man, I want to listen to that on the ride home, but it's too long. I'm not going to get the chance to. So I will listen to it tomorrow when I go to the gym. Anyway, so right. Let's see. Next books. Okay.
I was going to say your turn, because that was kind of one of mine.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to finish up with Thunderbolts. So let us, you did a Civil War. Let's have two Civil Wars. Well, you know what? Let's do New Avengers, number 12. We open up with that horrible human being, Maria Hill, talking to John Garrett. And it's always weird for me when I see John Garrett, because John Garrett, of course, I know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I never actually read a book with John Garrett in it before, even though I know he has an existence in S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm always reading him, and of course he looks nothing like the actor who played him. They gave him a big old bushy mustache and whatnot, which makes him look like Dum Dum Dugan, if you ask me. And then we open up on the big Celestial Destructor and its servitors scene. Speaking of romances, we get a nice little scene with Billy and Hulkling, where they're, talking and, being cute. We find out that Hulkling's sword Excelsior comes when he calls, so he whips it out and it does some slashing on some Celestials, and then Billy's talking to Scarlet Witch. He's like, I don't even know it, because he's with all of the magic users, and he's like, I'm not sure I even belong here. What I do isn't really even magic. And Scarlet Witch says, you're rewriting the structure of the universe according to how much you believe you can. If that's not magic, what is? And for what it's worth, magic is there too, and she's a mutant with magic powers too. It's like three of these people here, Scarlet Witch, Billy, and Magic, really aren't magic users. They're just mutants. Oh, look, magic. We even get Damien Hellfire there saving the day, because he's awesome. He doesn't bow to your idea of morality. He is just pure chaotic. He is chaotic neutral, and that's why we love Damien Hellstrom. Let's see here. We banish the Celestial, and then Billy gets a call with the Magnum PI theme song. And who's on the other end of the Magnum PI theme song, Phil? Roberto DaCosta, as well as the Zebra Kids and Cannonball. The Zebra Kids are growing up. I don't know, man. They're getting all very, very businessy. I worry about those kids. I think they're learning the wrong lessons from DaCosta. But he's in his Savage Land secret hideout under a dome. Wicked is not too happy to have gotten the call. Squirrel Girl and Huckling want to hear him out, and Hawkeye goes, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm going to stand over here with my fingers in my ears. La 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 la. Literally, that's what he does. Basically, let's see here. I'm trying to basically, they're being DaCosta says they're being listened to, and of course they're being listened to, but not by S.H.I.E.L.D., by the Maker, who apparently has figured out a way to just tap into every communication system on the planet. We see his new Revengers, which has Vermin, Angar, the White Tiger, Asti the All-Seeing. I don't know who that is, but she's there. Payback, the Power Scroll, Scar, Weapon of Mars, don't know who he is, and then Omnitronicus, the Omni-Computer, that's his Revengers, to go against the new Avengers, and then we find out that we have Dum Dum Dugan, who is the alien tech LMD, and John Garrett is talking to him, yada, 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 talks about the Howling Commandos, how they all doing. Then we find out that John Garrett has hacked Dum Dum Dugan's tech, finally, and is sending all the Dum Dum Dugans out to get the new Avengers. It's a fun, exciting book. Big thumbs up. I liked it. I do like the semi-metafictional silliness of it. It sort of like Thunderbolts. This book, I think, has a lot of comic book reader humor in it. And I like that. It's stuff that if you're a comic book reader, it's fun. And yeah, I enjoyed Civil War II tie-in number 12, even though it doesn't really tie in that much to Civil War II, except for the fact that it has a scene that takes place at the beginning of Civil War I. No Ulysses in this. So,
all right.
And what's your next book?
I will go to Guardians of the Galaxy number 9.
Okay.
Yeah, remember the team's been split up. They're basically storming that Badoon prison planet. So it opens up, and the Badoon in charge is like, the council or whatever is going to be mad at they're gonna kill us all for being. It's just one group, the Guardians of the Galaxy, or just a handful of them, and they're basically causing chaos on the whole planet. And they're like, but then one of the soldiers is like, there's thousands of us, we'll stop them. Then there's an explosion, and the last two people we haven't seen yet, Charlie, it's Drax and Gamora.
Yay!
So they come in, it's basically a big fight scene, but for pages and pages, basically Gamora and Drax are just yelling at them. Guys are like, where is she? Where is she? And
who are they looking for?
Well, like I said, a lot of this is just one big fight scene. It looks like they captured Gamora, but basically the Badoon are asking her, where's Thanos? Maybe if we kill you, his paternal instincts will kick in and he'll come looking for you.
They don't know Thanos that well, do they?
No. But and then she says the Black Vortex, and they're like, what? She's like, do you know what the Black Vortex is? She tells them she's touched it, but I guess she says over time, every time she uses it, a little bit drains from her, and she knows if she used it even one more time, she would lose it. But she said, so I've been saving a little bit for one last time. So she basically, they had her tied to a chair. She basically breaks free and I guess kills them.
Really? Tied to a chair?
Well, not like with ropes. I mean, it looks like she's shackled, and
Yeah, it's space rope.
Yeah, but so basically, like the last standing Badoon leads her to a jail cell. She blows it open, and who's in there, Charlie?
Kitty Pryde?
No, Angela.
Oh, Angela! Thor's sister.
Yep. Former angel. Yes.
Yeah.
So they basically come in. Drax finds her outfit, so Angela starts getting dressed in the cell. And Drax is telling Gamora, I guess he intercepted some transmission or something. He said most of the team is, been successful, but he's like, Quill's been captured, and then they're like, "Are you up for a challenge, Angela?" She's like, "We rescue Quill, and then we destroy this Empire of Blood once and for all." To be continued.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, it was good. It was a thumbs up for me. I'm assuming everyone's gonna get back together next issue because everyone's on the next issue's cover. So.
Fascinating.
Maybe for a rescue attempt.
So let me see here. Let's I'm gonna save this one for a little later. Let's go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 6. We open up in New York where a guy in a knockoff Iron Man armor is taking out Captain America, Sam Wilson, #MyCap. We cut to he gets saved by Melinda May with a big gun because, she's S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's Melinda May and she's there to save the day. Meanwhile, Phil Coulson, who had been being interrogated with the psionic stuff, is all passed out. And the goons, the Hydra goons, are worried because they think he's dead. And then he says, then all of a sudden he just ekes out the word Daredevil. And they go, huh? And he says, Daredevil taught me that trick. And he throws the chain up, strangles one while he kicks the other, basically, being a total Phil Coulson BA. He runs down the hall, frees Lola. She says, how did you find me? He says, it's the only other locked door. Then we cut to, years ago, Agent Grant Ward in bed, recuperating after being attacked by Iron Man. And Gorgon basically tells him, I wanted to meet the man who would trade his life for mine. He says, isn't that the job? And Gorgon says, the job is obedience, typically won through bribery or blackmail. But in taking the blastment from me, you demonstrated something else, loyalty. And for that, I'm going to tell you the secret of the world. Hydra, AIM, Roxxon, all these men playing games of chess with other men. S.H.I.E.L.D., the CIA, the Avengers, yet these chess games accomplish nothing. All they do is siphon money and resources away from the people and countries who really need them. My intention isn't to conquer the world, Mr. Ward. My goal is to free it. The only question is, will you help me? Cut back to Battle Carrier Pericles. You've got Leah and Gemma and Daisy talking. You get a guy in a knockoff Iron Man armor. He takes out Daisy, beats Melinda, and then real Iron Man shows up, takes the guy out. He tries to use the guy tries to use an EMP blast against him. Says, "Sorry, was that an EMP? It felt like an EMP. Sorry, pal, but I think your protocols are for last year's model." But this is very important because he does take out Quake before that happens. They get him out of the armor. Meanwhile, Lola and Coulson are fighting their way out of the Mount, the defunct headquarters of the Pantheon. Whatever happened to the Pantheon? Those guys need to get out more. Gorgon is like, I am of the Hand. I killed the Wolverine himself. What hope do you have of defeating me? He said, well, I figured Wolverine never tried shooting you in the face. And he shoots Gorgon in the face. Which works, as Phil points out. Actually, that worked just fine. Lola points out, his healing factor is going to get him back up in a minute. It's like, yeah, but, for 5 minutes here. And then Ward's goons show up, and Ward puts on a knockoff Iron Man armor, and then Phil's team shows up, Avengers assemble, battle. And Gorgon's taken out for now, but they're going to put him in a thing. Lola's captured by Ward. Ward basically kills her. Ward gets, knocked down by all the heroes. Isn't dead. Drop him in a hole somewhere. But as Ward points out, you do, he says, you're not going to shoot me, not in front of all these heroes. Then again, you do have a dark side. That's what where the protocols came from, isn't it? And you get this basic, and you flash back to this time where basically Ward and Phil are reporting to Hill. Then Ward shoots Hill and jumps out of the carrier. Of course, it's just a LMD. Then Phil visits Ward in the cell, and he says, they know, all of your team knows that you've plotted against them too. And that's going to tear your team apart. And then you cut to the team, and they're looking at the Axiom protocols, and they see, the files on them as well. Dun, dun, dun. Thumbs up. I do like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. book. I love that I have those television characters' voices in my head while I read it. I can't read Daisy Johnson without hearing Chloe Bennett's voice, which is kind of fun for me. And even though it's a different Deathlock, I still hear
J. August Richards.
Yeah, I still hear J. August Richards' voice when I read it. But this is Isaac Hayes, not Mike. But I still like it. And still thumbs up for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like the book. I'm going to keep on reading it. And I love seeing Melinda May in action too, because she is really a great BA in this whole thing. And I hope for more.
All right. Well, then I will go to All New X-Men number 10. It got the big Apocalypse Wars on there.
It's Apocalypse Wars, not Civil Wars.
Nope, Apocalypse Wars. Yeah, it's the mutants.
Next week next week is a Civil War crossover with the X-Men.
I believe so. Yes.
Yes.
So this, last issue, remember, Beast and Evan were pulled back into the past. So basically, Hank McCoy has I guess I got a stomach wound that would kill him, but fortunately, there's the enemy has a mystic. I guess he's gonna magically heal him because he said they can get information out of him, even though the ruler probably would want Hank to die, but he finds the the Mask of Horus or whatever that brought them back here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, meanwhile, Evan's wandering the city with the original Apocalypse, and he's basically just thinking to himself, it's hard to believe that, this guy's going to grow up to be a murderer, and, I'm his clone and stuff. But meanwhile, then a big fight breaks out in, the marketplace, and Apocalypse breaks it up, and Evan's he's like, did Apocalypse really just diffuse a conflict with kindness? He humbled himself. He's like, it doesn't make sense. He's supposed to be a villain. Then they show the healer.
Every villain is the hero of his own story.
Yeah. Then the healer's healing Hank, and he basically tells him he knows he's from a different time because, you'll find this interesting because he recognizes the Eye of Horus that they brought with them. He says, this here, the Eye of Horus, which hangs on a hook in Rama Tut's private chamber, guarded day and night, and yet I found it lying in the sand.
Rama Tut, oh yes. Which means it was always a time travel device.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Rama Tut. Why were you not in X-Men Apocalypse, Rama Tut? But and then like I said, that is what tells you Fox really doesn't want to use the Fantastic Four. They just want to get a sweeter deal out of Marvel for it, Because if they really wanted an integrated universe, they would have had at least an Easter egg in there. I'm just saying.
But then basically we see more of Evan with Apocalypse, and he can't wrap his mind around him being so good, because Apocalypse's friends are telling Evan how kind and thoughtful and generous he is. And then then they show the Mystic again talking to Hank, and he's telling him he's there basically, I know the legends of the apocalypse. It's going to cleanse the earth of mankind, and he says I guess he thinks he's working for Apocalypse. He says, like you, I serve only one master, death himself, first light of night, never ending, Apocalypse. And that's when...
That's a different Apocalypse than Evan as we know him. Like the original Evan. The original Evan is somebody different, or...
Yeah, because, Evan's a clone of the original Apocalypse. Yeah, I guess he's talking about the original Apocalypse.
Oh, but the original Apocalypse here, he's not like the ruler of this land here, right? He was just a soldier.
His father is the ruler of the land right now, and he's basically young like Evan is at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, because his father shows up and where Hank's at, and he's not too happy. But then I guess the enemies of Apocalypse's father show up. They're going to kidnap him, but he basically him and Evan hold them off while everyone gets to safety. And just when they think they're going to get away, on the last page, they see, I guess the Mystic contacts them and says, you're going to show up because I have your friend, and they show Hank all, beat up and hanging. They have him, tied up. And
tied up to a what? What's he tied up to?
It looks like it's not a cross, but it's an X.
Yeah. That's a big homage. Remember when they did that to Wolverine?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just like with Wolverine back in the day.
Yeah.
But I don't know if fate is gonna happen, because next issue they show Hank and Evan lying in the sand in a fully grown Apocalypse as we know him standing over them. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what's gonna happen, right? The kid Apocalypse is going to die, and then it's going to be that Evan is actually who has always been Apocalypse, and that's who he grows into. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. That's what they're leading to. It's like, there really was never an Apocalypse. It was always just Evan. He went back in time, and then he became himself, because who he was really wasn't who he was. Dun dun dun. Maybe, I don't know. So what are you giving it?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Very good. So let's go. I'm going to say it's my pick of the week. We're going to go from Apocalypse to Gods of War #1. Which I loved the Hercules series. I got so mad when they stopped it, but it looks like we're getting it back. It's just going to be titled Gods of War. Hercules, when we last left him, he's at a bar in Astoria. He's got his shot of whiskey in front of him, asked to leave the bottle, and who was there but Amadeus Cho? Got his text, came to hang out with him. The bartender's giving him stuff. He's like, "Look, kid, you do not look old enough to be here. I'm gonna have to kick you out." And then Amadeus pushes the button and hulks out. And Hercules says, a root beer for my friend, but it's like, sure, Hulk, please just let me have a bar in the morning. Anyway, so Herc and Amadeus are talking. Herc basically says, "No, I haven't drunk anything, but I do this from time to time. I come in here, I sit down, I order the drink, and then I just stare at it. It's it's a ritual for him to show that he doesn't need it." And he says, I stare at it and resist it. I face temptation and ignore it. Stubbornness is the one thing I have in my arsenal I can rely on, and I never give up. And then you hear the big fatum and who should show up, but that dang Destructor Celestial, and everyone's fighting it. And Hercules and the Hulk start throwing down too. And then who should show up but Cryptomnesia, as well as the other new gods. Horoscope introduces herself. They don't say what she is the goddess of, though, and I'm getting kind of annoyed by that. She needs to have some kind of designation. They say that they want Herc to be their god of chaos. And they basically just start, yammering at him, saying, I hear the private stuff no one wants anyone to hear. They'd never say it to your face. I mean, come on, they're heroes. But they're all sitting there saying, who invited? Can you believe Herc the jerk showed up? No one invited him to the after party at the mansion. And then basically, She-Hulk and Amadeus look over and they see Hercules fighting nothing. Basically, like, what is he doing? They go and they hold him down. They say, so what's going on, Herc? And he's like, they were right here. And then, and of course, this is one of these, you gotta say, convenient, we completely are gonna act like people don't talk to people who aren't there all the time in our world. And they're like, hey, Herc, maybe you should head home, sit the rest of this one out. Your head's clearly in a bad place. Take it easy, Herc. We've got this. And, because really, let's be honest here. It's like, if Herc says, I'm seeing gods, only I can fight. And you're She-Hulk and Amadeus, especially She-Hulk, who sees things that no one else can see all the time. Let's be honest here. In fact, all gamma-irradiated beings can actually see through that veil, as has been suggested. They should be able to say, okay, I kind of see where you're getting from here, and maybe want to help, but they don't. So Herc goes back to the apartment with Ire, the Queen of the Stone Age, and Gilgamesh, and Tiresias, and Sophia, and Hercules explaining to them that they've got a seer. The heroes have a seer, and Tiresias, who can see the future, is like, that never ends well. Just to give you that great little foreshadowing about Civil War, it's like, seers, yeah. They do know that doesn't work, right? They do know that, seeing the future, it's always, it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. But basically Hercules is saying, they're going to fight with all that stuff. We've got to deal with these new gods. And we can't bring them in because, they've got their own things to deal with, and, obviously it's not going to cross over in the books. But we have our own adventure to do, and then they start going over who all their heroes are, like, he says, because Hercules is saying we've got to get all the ancient heroes together, and he says, who are you thinking of, Achilles? And Herc says, he's dead. And he goes, what, again? What about Cuchulain? It says, too bloodthirsty. Then again, I can't afford to be too picky. And they're giving they're like, Krishna, Rama? I said, yes, those guys kick ass. We can go. Oh, you can't go wrong with Arthur. He's sleeping. Well, wake him up and tell him to bring Bors. And what's his face? Galahad. And they're basically running through all these ancient gods and heroes. And he says, hush, hush. Hello, it's Hercules. I know. A long time. Well, long time. I was wondering, are you busy? I'm putting the gods of war back together. Looking forward to that. It looks like we're definitely getting, what's his name? From the Thor books, and the Ring Cycle. What's his name? The first hero in the Norse mythology. God, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Had the big New Mutants crossover. It's currently dating Lorelei. I want to say. Why can't I remember his name? It's like. Anyway. African American Norse guy, cool guy. Basically, kind of like Herc, a bit of a lech. He's going to be in next episode with Lorelei. And then we've got a guy on a motorcycle and some guy holding a shield. I am just hoping we're going to get Hermes back in the. Oh, not Hermes. God, I'm blanking on everyone's name all of a sudden. Ares. Because it's the gods of war. So you got to get Ares back in this. But this is my pick of the week. I really love this book. I love the way they deal with the mythology as these, they deal with them as pan-dimensional super science beings, but they also deal with them in this quantum mechanical mystical realm. I really love that about these books. And I really want to see where it goes. So, big fan of Gods of War #1. That's my pick of the week. Big, big, big thumbs up. What's your next book?
All right. Well, since that was your pick of the week, I'll go to my last book on my own. My pick of the week, Daredevil #8. And there were some deep cuts in this book. But, Charlie, do you know how to pronounce the, what is it, a country or a territory? I think it's near China. It's Macau.
M-A-C... I'm sorry, what's it called?
A-U. Macau. How do you pronounce it?
I would pronounce that Macau.
Macau, okay.
Macau, yeah. Is that a real country, or is that just country? One of these countries they made up for the story?
No, I think it's real, because I did look it up. It's... I don't know if they said it's, like, right off mainland China, but,
Okay, well, that's Macau, then.
Yeah, Macau.
Yeah. That's how it's usually pronounced on the news.
Okay. But, so, Matt Murdock's there playing, Texas Hold'em in a casino. It's very Casino Royale, but, it opens up with him raising $50,000, but, because he's sitting at the table and he's saying the cards are coded in some kind of coding that he can't read the cards with his fingers, so he has no idea what cards he has, Charlie, but, he's reading the other players with his senses, so, he could kind of tell when people are bluffing and that.
Yeah. Where the heck is Matt Murdock getting $50,000 on a prosecutor's salary?
I don't know, but I think he said it was a 10,000. He won some because he said, but it was only a $10,000 buy-in. But I think he said that's about what he had left in his bank account. But
okay, that makes sense. So he got 10,000 and he's basically cheating to get the rest of it. Okay,
yeah. But he's playing under the name Laurent Levesser. You probably don't know this name, but there was 4 issues. It was Daredevil, the original series, 376 through 379. He was basically undercover for S.H.I.E.L.D., and I forget why, but they kind of mess with his memories. They mess with his head, but so for a few issues, the side effect of them messing with his head was he could see. Because they had him in
Can
Paris.
We just say that? Can we just take a moment to say S.H.I.E.L.D. is evil? Like, evil, and maybe Hydra are the good guys after all? Maybe that's the big reveal of Hail Hydra, is that Hydra really aren't the bad guys when you break it all down? Just gonna say.
So he was posing as a Frenchman back then. Laurent Levesser. So after that round, Matt wins that round. So I guess they're taking a break, and this woman comes out. She says her name is Adhira, and he of course introduces himself as Laurent Levesser, and she says, "Levesser, are you French?" He goes, "Sometimes." She's like, "You're a long way from home. What are you doing here?" And then they basically show like a flashback. He's beating on some goons, and he's pointing to an empty safe, saying, "Where is it? Tell me right now." And he's like, "Where? Tell me where the black cat put it."
Oh, the black cat.
And the goon said it's in Macau, so whatever it is, it's here. So she says, "I thought maybe you were here for the view," and he says, "No, I'm generally not big on scenery." So they go back, they're walking back into the casino, and she's like,
so he's pretending to be sighted in this, correct?
I guess, yeah, because he's playing the cards and no one knows he's blind, so yeah.
But she's glasses still.
Yeah, he's wearing the red glasses, yeah.
Okay.
Well, poker players do wear the professionals. Some will wear glasses.
No. Yeah, they do that. You actually do that because you don't want to give a tell with your eyes. You don't want people to see where your eyes are looking. That's a very common thing.
But they walk back in, and she says, "I wish you luck. You'll need it to get past Alexander Apex." She says, "I've watched him play. He's nearly as impressive as you. He gives nothing away, but always seems to know what the other players are going to do." And Matt says, "Well, sure, he's a telepath."
Again, a real problem in this world, and why is that not more of an issue?
And she's like, "What?" She's like, "You have to tell somebody, the pit boss or the casino manager." And he says, "No, it wouldn't do any good." And she says, "Why?" And he says, "Because they already know." And he basically tells her about Apex used to use his abilities to hustle casinos all over the world, but then I guess they must have caught him here and basically gave him a choice, a helicopter ride out to the middle of the China Sea or a job working for the casino. So now I guess he's working for the casino because if he wins, all the money from the tournament goes back to the casino.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. So they actually do address it here. Though why the other players don't just assume that there are telepaths among them, or a guy who can read, who can hear your heartbeat.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a real problem in this world.
Yeah, but it's funny because they sit back down to play and Apex is there, and I guess Matt's thinking to himself. I guess Apex's trick with his telepathy is he looks through everyone's eyes to see what they're holding, card wise. He's like, he's like, to which I say to you, Mr. Apex, I wish you the best of luck.
He must have Deadpool's cards from. He must have borrowed those from Squirrel Girl that he knows that's how his powers work.
But so while they're playing the game, Matt and Apex are basically fighting it out, in their minds or whatever. And Matt's like, I have to beat him because if I don't, he's gonna break through my defenses. He's gonna know who I am and everything, So they're basically fighting it out in their minds until Matt, of course, the scenery keeps changing. But how does he beat him, Charlie? He knocks him out in a boxing ring.
Psychic battles. If only they'd had something that interesting in X-Men Apocalypse.
So Matt wins, and of course the hotel gives him the biggest room in the hotel. He says because they want me to stay and spend the money and give it kind of lose it back. And then he tells that Hira that he's meeting a friend. He goes to his room. He says he won $10 million. He says he's like, not bad, but too bad he can't cash it because the check's made out to Levesser.
So Chip didn't even give him a social security number he could use when they created a false identity for him. That was poor on their part. Yeah.
Who knows? They still haven't said how he did it, but yeah, the issue ends with him putting his Daredevil suit on, and he jumps out the window and he goes up to the roof, I guess, of the hotel, and then he hears a voice say, "Hey there, we took you long enough." And who is it, Charlie?
Elektra? Black Cat?
No, Peter Parker, this Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, nice of him to show. And for what it's worth, they actually will, most casinos will actually make the check out to cash if you ask them. Transfer it to your Swiss account, for which you just need a number, because, it is a casino, so there are a few questions being asked. They'll even give it to you in chips, which they will give you cash for.
I don't know. Maybe Magic. Maybe he doesn't want anybody looking too close at his finances, or I guess that's just the writers. They don't want him being independently wealthy all of a sudden.
Then you just have him send the check to the widows and orphans home. There are ways around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on behalf of Mr. Levesser, it's.
But yeah, thumbs up. That's my pick of the week.
Okay, it does sound like it was pretty awesome. It sounds like one I would have loved. Okay, so my last book on my own is Howard the Duck, Return of Bev. So when last we left our intrepid hero, Howard the Duck, we get some nice little flashbacks here on the first page where it's to some classic Howard the Duck scenes, including fighting Bull Market, where Bev is hiding from Bull Market, and of course there's some, as per normal in the Marvel Universe, there's conveniently placed barrels of ooze nearby. And Howard goes up and meets Beverly, and Beverly is like, "Hey Howard, come on in." And they're talking about, what's going on in their lives. Beverly is trying to be a veterinarian, and Howard is like, "Oh, you never once mentioned that." And then we cut back to all the scenes we just saw at the beginning, and every single one, Beverly's mentioning how she wants to be a vet. But Howard just doesn't listen. You get to this you get to a whole thing where they're, we get to the flashback when they had the fight with Bull Market, and that was sort of when Bev left him. And they have this, they have a great little thing about how, they can't ever, they've never been able to be together because, every time they tried to be together, craziness would show, and Bev had to leave Howard because she wanted Howard to have she wanted Howard to have a life, but, Howard says, hey, my life is still crazy. To attack them because they are he says, attention superhumans. Says, prepare to die at the hands of the Iron Punisher. And then we get a little backstory on this, particular Sentinel. There were just 3 Sentinels just hanging out on patrol one day when all of a sudden they are attacked by a group of Avengers and mutants. And when the Scarlet Witch knocked the Sentinel out, it messed up his programming. So now he was self-aware, but he also had sorrow for his fellow Sentinels who were destroyed. So he vowed to destroy all superhumans. And then the Sentinel is defeated by Scout, who shows up. You may recall Scout from last issue. Silver Surfer let her hang on to her powers to sort of figure herself out. Bev basically tells Howard, look, I'm going to be done with my classes. When I'm done with my classes, if you want to come back and be normal with me, we can try it. Scout is like, oh man, I'm sorry. It looks like I interrupted something. Howard says, it's cool. You saved the day. They go off. They go back to New York. Scout gives him a little thingy so that she can call him whenever he needs. You see that Bev is studying on her duck anatomy for her finals as a vet. And then we see her do a quick flashback to when those precariously placed barrels of chemicals were laying around when Bull Market was fighting Howard. And we see her step out and start to glow and start to float. And then she says, just be normal. And she lands and goes back inside. Meanwhile, back at his office, May is there, as well as Biggs. They get Howard dressed because they have a client with money. And then who should come in, Phil? Who is the client?
Who?
Leah Thompson. Because she's been suffering from missing time. It says, my name is Leah Thompson. I need your help finding a missing person. Myself. And Aunt May says, you can tell she's an actor. What a great dramatic pause. And Biggs says, Biggs no care. Pet Biggs now. As always, a fantastic episode of our good friend Howard the Duck. Next episode, Leah Thompson, Aliens, television executives. Big thumbs up. Really close to being a pick of the week as always. I just thought that Hercules just not nudged it off a bit. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, Thunderbolts came super close too for me. And let's move on to that, shall we?
All right.
Okay. Do you want to give us some thoughts on Thunderbolts, Phil?
Well, we kind of knew that Moonstone wasn't permanently dead, right?
Well, here's what I'm going to say on that whole thing is no one is permanently dead when Kobik's around because it's like, I'm magic! So Kobik rips out the thing and everyone's dying and basically Bucky has to say, put it back. It's like, I know. And she's like, but Ms. Moon says no, because I'm the leader. Says, no, you're not the leader. She was wrong. Carla made up a stupid game and she lost. Okay. So Kobik puts her back together, which, is the advantage of having an omnipotent cosmic cube on your team. And no, she was totally dead up until that moment because she does the whole Pulp Fiction, where it's like, oh, there we go, lungs work again. By the way, can I just say I really don't like Moonstone's uniform because it's like all Attack on Titan. It's like that weird like exterior musculature. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, the cocoons start to hatch with crazy alien speak monsters coming out. A lot of battle. Atlas grows big. Atlas throws one of them, and Bucky's like, "Didn't I just tell you not to let Benny get away?" He goes, "Oh yeah, sorry." So Atlas goes after that. We get a great little scene with like two kids who are debating. You should totally ask the girl out. I mean, I don't know. Then one of the aliens falls down in front of them, and then Atlas shows up and swats them before the alien can eat them. And then Mach 10 shows up and shoots one of the other aliens, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'll totally ask her out." So that was a fun little meta bit. And they've defeated the aliens. Kobik says that was scary. And then they decide that, as per Carla Soffin's suggestion from the start, let's burn it all down. Burn it with fire. And so they do. And then who should show up, Phil?
Well, of course, Inhuman Cocoons. It's the Inhumans.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, these weren't Inhuman Cocoons. These were some kind of weird experiment going on that, someone's going to have to answer for. Yeah. So there's Crystal, and that's Gorgon. Is that that's Gorgon in his way, right? And then I don't know. Anyway, because next episode we see like Flint fighting Atlas, but I don't see Flint here. Is that Flint? I thought that was Dante. That looks like Dante. Yeah, I like it. I love Kobik. I love the. I'll give Kobik this. I'll give her the benefit of a doubt as a poorly drawn child image, just because she is sort of manufacturing her own exterior, so it may not look properly human. It's but it's a big thumbs up for me. What did you think, Phil?
Oh yeah, it's thumbs up for me. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm glad this team got back together. I just wish they'd bring Songbird back too.
Yeah, well, no, because she's over in New Avengers, so she's like taken. That's the only thing. It's like they will have a team of. I'm sure they're gonna have a crossover New Avengers and Thunderbolts at some point. Because let's face it, New Avengers are kind of a villainy team right now. Thunderbolts always a villainy team. So you could get a nice little crossover with Songbird back. But she's got her own book right now. I mean that's the thing. Yep. But yeah, yep. So I think that's all our books this week, Phil.
Yeah, not quite as big a week. Thank goodness.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I actually think I have a relatively short week next week, too, so yay!
Yeah, I think I only have one or two more than I did this week. All right.
Okay.
All right, let's get out of here. If you would like to talk to us about any of these comics or anything we didn't get to, email us, marvelroundup@gmail.com. Facebook is All New Marvel Roundup. Twitter is @Marvel_Roundup, and our shared Instagram is World's Finest Roundup. And Charlie, where can people find you?
Well, you can always tweet along with me on the television when I'm watching television and whatnot. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEssser. Look for the two E's in the middle for quality. And of course, you can always write to me in the old-fashioned email way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. And that's that. Thanks for listening. Oh, you know what? Lilith, we should give Lilith, because she didn't give her social media before she left.
Yeah, I usually put it in the show notes, but I'm trying to remember. You can, Lilith, of course, is at Lilith Hellfire on Twitter. She has. I know she has the website lilithhellfire.com. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think check. But yeah, just I'll try to put more in the show notes. But yeah, just I remember at Lilith Hellfire and lilithhellfire.com because she's all about that branding. And before I do my social. Yeah, but before I do my social media, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to GammaCast on 80s Reboot Overdrive, Charlie himself.
Hey, I know
and,
that
Dave
show.
Light. No, yeah, I've been enjoying it. I mean, it's a really good show, and not just because you mentioned me last time. It's really good. I find it entertaining.
Oh, I enjoy watching the shows, and you all should watch them too. They're on Netflix. As I've said before, it really is the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you want to understand the Marvel Cinematic Universe, watch that old Hulk series, and you get to understand a lot of what gave birth to the Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and if you want to get a hold of me, it's nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I'm at nightwingpdp. Basically, anywhere, just look for nightwingpdp. And all my stuff can be found at philparrish.wordpress.com. All right, that's it then, Charlie?
That's all of it.
All right. Well, come back next week, and you can march with us. It's Civil War time. Civil War time, because
I was going to say the Merry Marvel Marching Society.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
We're like the Milk the Civil War name, Marching Society. All right, so come back next week, and don't let any toddlers rip anything out of your chest. Good night.
There you go. Good night.